Welcome to Lodestar's Business Intelligence Navigation video. My name is Patrick and this is Colin, and we are going to walk you through how to navigate your business intelligence experience. So Colin, if you could you log in please?
Sure.
And for people watching the video, if you don't have a login to get into your business intelligence application, just contact your system administrator and they'll give you the link and the username and password. So now that we are logged in, Colin, what am I looking at here? This is the home screen.
Yeah, this is the home screen, and this is the location that you'll be taken to when signing on. From the home screen, there's a bunch of links that we'll review right now. In the top left here, we have the Create area. So this is when you're going to be creating new reports, and we'll look at that in a future demo. Down beneath that is Browse and Manage. So being able to look through the catalog and manage any analysis reports or any other types of BI information. Down in the bottom left here is some key information, so introduction to business intelligence, some help documentation, and any desktop tools that you would download from the system.
And those links are really good. I think it's important to explore the system. When you click on those, it'll take you outside to look at Oracle's website. There'll be a lot of documentation. This is a widely used tool throughout the world, so there's a lot of information out there. We really encourage users to go out and take a look and explore a little bit.
So up across the top here, we have a few links that we'll be walking through one by one. The catalog, how to create favorites, how to navigate to your dashboards, how to search the catalog, so looking for very specific reports or information.
Okay. So Colin, when we first log into and I see this screen, how do I get to where my dashboards are?
That's a good question. So when you're first navigating in, there's a drop down that's called Dashboards. And what it's going to present is a list of all the dashboards that your user has access to. So
if I only have access to one dashboard, will I see that dashboard listed here plus that little link that says My Dashboard?
Correct. You're always going to see the My Dashboard, which is a dashboard specific to your user. So you can hang certain reports onto your own dashboard that only you see. If you're looking at a very specific dashboard, like an executive dashboard, this is going to be more of a system-wide dashboard that you, as well as many other users, will have access to.
Okay, so if I log in and I see a whole big list of dashboards here, if I go to one all the time, because that's my favorite one, can I set a default so that it always takes me to a particular dashboard when I log in?
Most definitely. In order to do that, what you're going to do is click on your actual username in the top right here, and underneath it there's a link called My Account. Once you click on My Account, you're going to have a few preferences that you can edit yourself. The very first one here is the starting page. So for me, I've set it as the home page, but if you want, you can navigate specifically to a dashboard when you sign on. Let's say I set it to executive. So the next time I sign on, it's going to take me right to the executive dashboard.
Great, and then I can still access all the other dashboards from that drop-down list.
Correct.
Okay, so why don't we jump to a dashboard and let's take a look at how we navigate around a specific dashboard.
Okay, so let's use the executive dashboard as an example. Once you click on the executive dashboard, you'll see at the top here it'll have the tab that says executive, so that is the dashboard itself. The dashboard really is a grouping of tabs and reports. You can see across the top here we have multiple tabs: overview, loans maturing, deposits maturing, etc. And on each one of those tabs is really just a grouping of reports. So on the overview tab, you can see here we have deposit totals by amount, loan totals by amount, and many more on each tab.
And then what do we see across the top here? I see branch name. So what is that?
The branch name is what is called a filter or a prompt. What this allows you to do is select from a list, pick various attributes from that prompt. Let's say I wanted to filter on BC branch. And when you select apply, it's going to actually change the reports that are on this dashboard tab.
So all the reports that are hanging on this particular tab are going to be changed because of the filters that are sitting at the top.
That's correct.
Okay.
Now that the report is actually changed, you can actually interact with it even further. So in this report, deposit totals by amount, we have a slide bar. You can see that when I click on the little play button, it's going to jump to the next major from checking to savings and over to time deposit, which is on the right-hand side here.
Okay. Now with the bars that are in the graph, if you hover over them, I think we see more information.
Correct, yeah. They're interactive in the fact that they will pop up a a little window that has information about the bar itself.
Okay. And if this particular report was set up to drill somewhere else, at this point, if I hovered over, I would click on it and it would take me somewhere else.
That's correct.
Okay.
To jump to an example of that, we'll go into the Deposits Maturing tab. And this report here, Deposit Amounts by Maturity Dates, is actually a report that is set to drill. In order to figure out what report is set to drill, you can hover over it and you'll see the little finger that will allow you to drill. As well as in the graph that we have here, when I hover over the balance amount, you can see that there's a little line underneath it. Whereas the days to maturity doesn't have that line.
Oh, just like on the internet, if you hover over something that has a link, it usually shows up underneath it.
Exactly.
Okay.
So if I now click on one of the graphs, and I'm going to click on the 1 year bar here, what it's going to do is it's going to drill me down to the next level of detail. So right now it's going out and compiling a list of deposit accounts that are maturing in the 1 year bucket. And what it's returning is a list of accounts based on branch with balance amount and the days to maturity here. Yeah. If I want to navigate back, at the very bottom of this report is a little link at the bottom that says return, and I can return to the previous page and it'll take me right back to the dashboard that I was previously on.
Okay, so I understand that. Now we've covered, we see at the top of this one there's a branch, and this one also has an owner type, but can there be more filters that we can have at the top? Are there certain reports that have a lot of filters?
Yeah, there is. The net worth listing here is one that's used to have a look at the listing of members or customers with the organization. And it allows you to filter that list based on a number of different prompts. So things like looking at member name, member number, sorting only by branch. We're looking at a value. So this one here has a total deposit field. What we can do is we can have the user prompt and allow them to pick and choose what they're looking for. So they can look at values that are greater than. So for instance, if I'm going to do greater than $100,000 and I select apply, it's going to filter the report below only on the total deposit column for anything that's $100,000 or more.
Okay. And then Colin, if as I filter this report below and I see there's a lot of columns and rows, what if I want to take this out and export it somewhere? What are my options for that?
Down at the very bottom of the report, there will be a link similar to the return button that we looked at previously. It's called export. What this allows us to do is export to a different type of format. So we can export it into a CSV format or a text document. We can export it to PowerPoint, export it to Excel, or even just into a PDF document.
So if I wanted to take a report and show it to senior management in a PowerPoint, it usually would be more of a graphical one, and I'd probably use it for that. But for this type of tabular information, being able to pull it into Excel, take it offline, build new pivot tables, reorganize the information, now we can do that quickly and easily.
Exactly, yep.
Okay.
And even if you just wanted to print something just to bring to a meeting, there's also the ability to print. So we have a printable HTML button, and then there's a printable PDF. So that's a good feature just if you want to print something really quickly to show someone else.
And then if I don't see these buttons at the bottom, print and export, that means that my user is not set up to see these things, right?
That's correct. Those are permission-based links. So if you don't have those links, then just contact your administrator.
Okay, that sounds good. I think we've covered the major points of navigation at this point. Our next video is going to be around report creation and looking at the catalog. If Colin, you want to click on the catalog, it's going to take us to a listing of the reports that actually get dropped onto those dashboards, and we'll see how that linkage works. Maybe we'll just show the favorites as one last thing before we leave this demonstration.
Sure, sounds good. So if I'm back at the executive dashboard and I want to go to a report or a dashboard tab that I always go to frequently, the easiest way to do that is to go up into favorites and select add to favorites. So what that's going to do is it's going to add the tab that I'm currently on, which is the executive overview tab, and it's going to add it to my favorites. So I've clicked on add to favorites. Now when I come back into favorites, you'll see the executive overview tab. So no matter where I am in BI, if I'm on some other dashboard like data quality management, and I want to go back to that overview tab, the easiest way is to do that is to go back into favorites, click on executive overview, and it's going to take me right back to that favorite tab that I have.
Oh, that's great. Now, one last thing, Colin, I'm going to keep you on for a little bit longer. If I want to search for reports, and it's not something on my dashboard, but I want to see if there's something in the catalog that exists that's close to what I'm looking for. How would I do that?
That's a good question. So the easiest way to do it is there's an advanced button up at the top. What we can do is we select on the advanced button, and it's going to take us to a search function. And this is basically going to search a bunch of different types of items in the catalog. There's a type drop down. So there's things like if I'm searching for a specific dashboard name or a prompt, or even just a report, which is actually called an analysis in business intelligence. What I'm going to do is type in the report that I'm looking for. So let's say deposit totals by amount, and I select search, and it's going to go into the system and it's going to look for something, and because I have a typo in there, it's not going to present what I'm looking for. So let me simplify and just go deposit totals, and now it's going to go out and bring back anything that has the word deposit totals in it. So you can see here there's an agent. Agents are used for BI caching, and then there's a couple of different reports with deposit totals in it.
Okay, so when I hover over that little graphic, it's showing me that it's an analysis, and then I'm able to open it and take a look at the content of that.
Exactly. So by clicking on open here, it's going to run that report for me, and I can look at it.
So if I think this report's fantastic and I want to look at it all the time, could I just put it on my dashboard?
You could. In order to do that, we would go back into the advanced search, type back in deposit totals, search. You would basically click on this link here, which is going to take you to the catalog where it's located. And that's important because you need to know where it's located when you're actually adding it to your dashboard.
Oh, I see.
So once you have the location up at the top here, then you're going to go into dashboards and my dashboard, and you'll see a little button here that says to add content. Click edit. So I'm going to edit that, and now all you're doing really is dragging and dropping that from the location that you previously found. So that was under LDW and overview, and you'll see a report called deposit totals by amount. Oh, sorry, it's under deposits.
Under deposits. Oh, yeah.
And you'll see deposit totals by amount. And it's as simple as just dragging and dropping it into the content area and then saving that report. Now when I go back into dashboards and my dashboard, that deposit totals by amount is now on that dashboard.
Oh, perfect. So I can just keep adding reports here as I want, ones that I want to see all the time.
Yep.
Okay, great. Well, that covers all the BI navigation pieces that you need to get going quickly and easily. You can search for content. You can browse the different reports on the dashboards that exist that you have access to. The reports are interactive, so you can hover over different areas and look for clickable links that'll take you to other reports and get you to further level of detail. That will be enough to get you going, and stay tuned for our next video around report creation. Thank you, Colin.
Thank you, Patrick.